been some months since I've sat down and talked about books. It's been a little while. So I'm popping in to show you and talk about some books that I've purchased, was gifted, and borrowed from. The borrowed books are from my mom. So let's get into it. So this past Christmas, many months ago, my line sister gave me a gift card to bookshop.org. Now, bookshop.org is a website where you can purchase books from independent bookstores from all over. So if you put in your area code, it will allow you to select, sorry, not your area code, your zip code. If you put in your zip code, it will allow you to select independent bookstores that are within the radius of where you live. So I like bookshop.org because your purchase gives X amount of dollars back to independent bookstores. Welcome to New York. And you can support independent bookstores by buying through bookshop.org. Or there are other independent bookstores if you like. Specifically, I like Books Are Magic, Cafe Con Libros, Green Light Bookstore, quite a few in Brooklyn. I can go into their website, order, or I can go to the store, or I can use bookshop.org. There's no sponsorship. I'm just letting you know this. But anyway, so my line sister gave me a gift card to bookshop.org, and I used that gift card expeditiously in real time. As soon as I got it, I said, thank you, girl. And I went ahead and purchased a book. So the book that I purchased was The Bookshop Sisterhood by Michelle Lindo Rice. And this is what that book looks like. And I've talked about it before. The thing that draws my interest to what book will I read, I try to read, and I've stuck to this for the most part. I try to read Black authors, men or women, and Latin authors. Saying men or women doesn't matter. As long as they're Black and Latin, I like to try to read books by authors of color. The books that I have read that are not by Black or Latin authors is like Stephen King. Like I read It, The Institute, books like that. But nonetheless, the thing that caught my eye was the book cover. And then, of course, I read the narrative. And it's about four best friends who are going to enter into agreement to run a bookshop together. But, of course, you get to see the intricacies of each friend's life and what's going on in their life and how they're going to approach to run this bookshop. So you get a little of their personal lives as characters, and then you get the premise clearly of the book. So that caught my interest, the cover and of course the blurb, and so I look forward to reading this. Then there was The House on Mango Street by Sandra Cisneros. I hope I did not say the name wrong. But I've never had the opportunity to read The House on Mango Street. And I know for many folks in public school and in school in general, elementary, well, not necessarily elementary, junior, maybe elementary, but like 6th grade, junior high school have had to read this book. I didn't have to read this book in high school or junior high school. There were others like The Great Gatsby, things of that nature. But I haven't had the opportunity to read this. So I wanted to read The House on Mango Street. So I know many of you have probably read this book and heard of this book. So I really did want to have the opportunity to get into this. My niece, who is 12, she just turned 12, actually read this for school, and she's in the 6th grade, so I wanted to read this. Deacon King Kong by James McBride is another one that I purchased. So I purchased so far the Bookshop Sisterhood, House on Mango Street, Deacon, King Kong. And I was interested in this book, one, the cover, but also the blurb. And it takes place in 1969. And it says the old church deacon known as Sport Coat shuffles into the courtyard of Causeway housing projects in South Brooklyn, pulls a 38 from his pocket, and in front of everybody shoots the project's drug dealer at point blank range. That's enough for me. You know what it reminded me of? It reminds me of New Jack City, the ending of New Jack City, the final scene. And for those of you who did not see it, I will not spoil it, but that's what that first line in that blurb made me think of New Jack City, that final scene. But I digress. So that blurb alone, that first line in that blurb alone made me want to go ahead and get this and read it. Now, believe it or not, I have never read Beloved. I've read The Bluest Eye by Toni Morrison. I think that's the only book I did read by Toni Morrison was The Bluest Eye, and I read it in the 6th grade, but I do need to revisit it because what do I know? How can I really appreciate a book like that if I'm reading it at like 12? You know what I mean? So I was gifted Beloved by Toni Morrison. Many of you may have read it, many of you may not have, but I wanted to take the opportunity to read it. She's also my sorority sister. I love Toni Morrison. Oh my gosh, like her documentary I've watched an obscene amount of times. It was really, 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 really good. And I love the fact that she's actually a part of the documentary and they're interviewing her and talking to her. So, but Beloved is a book that I was gifted. The Wedding. I had this on my to be read list. My line sister gifted this to me. She surprised me with it. So I've watched the TV movie. I think Halle Berry was in it. So I actually wanted to read the book. So Beloved by Dorothy West. And it says in the first novel in 47 years, Dorothy West, the last summer surviving member of the Harlem Renaissance, offers an intimate glimpse into the African-American middle class set on Martha's Vineyard in the 1950s. The Wedding tells the story of a life in the Oval, a proud insular community made up of the best and brightest of the East Coast Black bourgeoisie. Within the inner circle of the Blue Vine Society, we witness a prominent Coles family gather for the wedding of the loveliest daughter, Shelby, who could have chosen from a whole area of eligible men of the right colors and the right professions. Instead, she has fallen in love with and is about to be married to Meade Weiler, a white jazz musician from New York. A shock wave breaks over the Oval as its longtime members grapple with the changing face of its community. So I just like the idea of bourgeoisie, Black folk, in Martha's Vineyard, which I had the pleasure of visiting like about 2 years ago. So I think this would be a good one. I've heard of The Wedding, like I said. I'm sure maybe many of you have read it, maybe you haven't. Again, I just remember the TV movie that used to air. I was little. I had to be maybe in my preteens or maybe around, I can't remember, maybe around that age. But Dorothy West, again, Harlem Renaissance. So I wanted to get into this. So I was gifted this. This I took from my mom, Bernice McFadden's Sugar, a novel. It was on my to-be purchase list, and then I was helping my mom purge some of her books and clean out her library, and I was like, I don't gotta buy it. I can take it from you. She probably wants me to give it back, but I don't know if she's getting it back. So, Bernice McFadden's Sugar. I think this is a book 1 of maybe 2 in this series. So it says when Sugar arrives in 1950s Bigelow, waltzing down the main square of a sweltering tiny Arkansas town as it as if she has every right to be there. No one tosses out the welcome mat or invites her in for a coke. The big low women hate her from the minute they lay eyes on her, on the bouncing blonde wig and red painted lips that tell them she has never known a hard day's work. They have their names for this shameless creature in their midst, names they can only whisper behind closed bedroom doors, names they wouldn't dare utter in public. All they know is they want her gone out of their town and away from their men. Sounds a little messy, but I'm down for it. I'm down for it. And I imagine this is like the original cover, since my mom probably bought it when it kind of came out. So this is borrowed. Missing White Woman by Kelly Garrett. I read the blurb. It made me chuckle. And then I was like, I need to get it. So this is like a murder mystery with a little bit of comedy mixed in there. And I was like, I'm down for it. So Missing White Woman by Kelly Garrett. And I look forward to it. I do. I can't wait to read this. It made me chuckle. I won't read you the blurb, but you can, look that up. Another borrowed from my mom as we were cleaning out her books. Mr. Untouchable, The Rise, Fall, Resurrection of Heron's Teflon Don, Leroy Nicky Barnes. Yeah, I'm interested in memoirs, crime, things of that nature. I like romantic novels. I like all the things, right? And Nicky Barnes, I'm interested in his story. I'm interested in stories from that era. A little bit of crime, salaciousness, all the things. My mom had this. I said I'm going to go ahead and take a peek, take a look, and read it. Look at this organization, how the organization was run. Crazy. And these things fascinate me because I was a criminal justice major, undergrad and grad school, so I have a criminal justice degree in both undergrad and grad. Different areas of focus, but nonetheless, like this. Can't wait to get into that. And then ironic. So Lovely One, Kentanji Brown Jackson, who is our Justice, first Black woman justice appointed by the Joe Biden. And this was gifted to me for Christmas. So it's her memoir, her life. And I look forward to reading this too. I look forward to reading all of them. So I don't know why I keep saying I look forward to reading it. But nonetheless, I look forward to reading all these books. Purchased, borrowed, and gifted. And I don't know when I'm going to read them, because as you all know from my previous videos, I do select 6 books each year to read. Some make it quickly. Some, it takes a little more time before I get to them, but nonetheless, I get to them all. I hope you enjoyed this video. If you haven't check out the playlist for the book sit downs. Check out my playlist and you can see what books I've been reading, what I purchased, memoirs, all those things. And I do plan on doing more videos. Specifically, the next video might be going back to 2019 when I selected 6 books and what were my favorite, or the books that I like the most out of the 6 that I picked from 2019 and why. So thank you for watching my video. I hope you enjoyed it as much as I enjoyed sharing these books with you, and I hope that you have read some or that you will read some that I listed. And if you have read any, don't give me any spoilers. Just let me know if you read them. Okay? Bye.